Hello, everybody. Hello, Instagram. Hello, Facebook. I'm just getting all the things set up here. So bear with me for just a moment. I want to make sure I am on all the devices. Okay. So I think we're good to go, guys. Um, Welcome. So today we're going to be talking about running your first group coaching program. So if you're thinking about switching to group coaching or want to know what it entails, or maybe you've gotten into it and you're like, whoa, that was unexpected. We're going to chat about some of those things today. So please feel free to drop your questions or your comments into the chat. Let me know if you're watching live or if you're a part of the replay crew. So definitely would love to hear from you. So guys, group coaching. Some coaches love it. Some coaches hate it. Hey guys. Hey Shonda. Hey Tiffany. How are you? Group coaching. Like I said, some coaches love it. Some coaches hate it. Um, and I know that there's a lot of coaches that believe that one-to-one coaching is really the only way that your clients are going to get results. And I'm here to tell you that whether it's one-to-one or it's a group, if you don't know what you're doing, you just don't know what you're doing. And so your clients won't get results anyway. These are facts. That's the very first thing I want to put out there. Um, so if you've made the decision or when you've made the decision to run a group coaching program, I know it's a common theme to cut the price and make it less than your one-to-one service. So here's what I'll say about that. If you're going to do both group coaching and one-to-one, you need to clearly identify what's different about both services that is going to make your one-to-one more premium than your group coaching if that's the way that you're going to go. Otherwise, your group coaching program becomes your premium service, right? Just because it's group coaching doesn't mean it's less valuable or less effective if it's well executed, okay? So remember this, just because it's group coaching doesn't mean that it's less valuable or less effective if it's well executed. So I believe you can have a premium high ticket group coaching program and deliver excellent results to your clients. It's all in the execution. Of course, it won't go well if you don't know how to do it, right? That just goes without saying. This is something that I actually coach my clients through in the Brand Builder Blueprint. If this is the model they would like to use, right? So if you're going to be offering a group coaching program, here are the top 5 essential elements that I think you need. The first is going to be program outcomes, right? Program outcomes, program curriculum, coaching calls, community, evaluation tools, and metrics. Hey guys, hey. So those are the things that I think you really need. Let's go ahead and break each one of those down. And we can, if you have questions about it, please drop them in the chat or let me know. So the first is program outcomes. And so this is something that I think you need, whether it's group or one-to-one. But I feel like these first two, the outcomes and the curriculum, a lot of coaches miss this element. So I see a lot of people talking about like aligned methods, things like that, but it varies from client to client. Ultimately, you have to be clear about what your clients will achieve, what they'll learn, what they'll know, what they'll be able to demonstrate, have a better understanding of the transformation they will undergo after working with you. What are those things? Like, right? I mean, when I ask you what your program is about, that's what I mean. Because ultimately, people want to know what they're going to get out of it. So when I ask, like, what's your program about? What can people expect? That's what I mean. Like, what are the outcomes of your program? Now, if I'm not sure about what I'm getting, I'm not going to sign up. That's just what it is. Now, with program curriculum, another element I feel that is really missed by coaches. If you don't have outcomes, it is going to be difficult, impossible for you to establish a curriculum. I've said it before and I will say it again. People aren't paying you to feel your way through subject matter. They're just not. And although you may call yourself an expert and you just teach off the top of your head because that's how you've always done it, I've seen this a lot. Let me be real with you. That's what that's like what you do when you don't charge people. Like that's a free thing, right? You're teaching off the top of your head, kind of like whatever questions come. That's like kind of like a whatever. It's a free for all. If you're charging people, you need to have a clear outline, right? Know what you're going to be talking about and be able to provide a consistent experience. You should not just be winging it, especially with high ticket clients. If you are, now is the time to stop that and fix it in your business. You may be able to get away with that with a small number of clients, but if you have dreams of actually scaling your business, that's not going to work. Guys, it's not going to work. Okay? Hey Zara, how are you? It's just not going to work. Furthermore, you cannot guarantee a consistent experience to any standard with no curriculum. Everybody is going to literally walk away with different knowledge taught by you, which shouldn't be the case if they went through the same program. I think a few lives ago, I talked about people will take different gems from your program, whether it's intentional or unintentional, meaning something that you say could resonate greatly with someone, and then with another person, it may not. But ultimately, what you're teaching and the knowledge that they have should be consistent across the board. Hopefully, I'm making sense with that. Hey, Detail Divas in the house. Hopefully, I'm making sense with that. I really don't want that to be misconstrued. Like, just please do not be winging your program for your high ticket clients, right? The third thing is going to be coaching calls, right? So let's talk about coaching calls. Hey there. How are you? Questions I get: how long are they? How often should we have them? What do we talk about? These are all questions that I receive. The answer is going to be, I know you don't want to hear this, it depends, right? It depends on how much other support you've built into your program, right? Typically, coaching calls are weekly. And on coaching calls, you really have to dial up your facilitation skills. Like, really, really, really. So if you're not so skilled at commanding a discussion or a room, you will need to learn for your coaching calls, because you will have all different types of personalities, learning styles, etc., in the same room with one another that will be attending and that want to have clarity and want to ask questions. How are you going to make sure that certain people don't monopolize the call? How will you make sure that the call is valuable for all that attend? Will you have a place to store the replays if people can't make it? These are all things you need to consider when you're running your group coaching program. In general, I just think that coaching calls should be no less than bi-weekly for high ticket programs. I think you can get away with having 2 calls per month for high ticket, but nothing less than that. You may have other types of calls, but this heavily depends on how your program is structured. This is why I say you cannot just wing your program, right? Everything must be intentional and plotted out, right? The fourth thing is community. So, one of the things that I think makes a group coaching program and really makes the experience for your clients is the community that you build within it. Okay. Be very intentional about who you let into your community, the vibe that you cultivate within that, right? People will be appreciative of you holding the space, right? Holding the space for their greatness, allowing them to grow, build relationships, form partnerships. All that is really important. And all that is the space that you are in charge of cultivating. So that's why I believe it's important to have a screening process in place for your high ticket program. The community that you cultivate can ultimately make or break your client experience. And I've seen this, right? Having, like, if you've heard the saying, one bad apple spoils the whole bunch, that really is true in any community, not just group coaching, but in any community. You can have one person that like literally tanks the mindset and the progress of the entire group, right? Because they just weren't ready for that type of experience. So being very intentional about who qualifies for your high ticket program, and how you have that screening process so that your community, will you get it right 100% of the time? No, we're human, but ultimately you want your community to be a place that's uplifting. People are going to experience growth. They're going to want to work together and have those types of mastermind level conversations, even outside of when you guys come together. The fifth thing is going to be evaluation tools and metrics. So y'all know I'm about data-driven decisions in your business. but you should be keeping stats on your group program. Progress of your clients, results that they achieve, where they excel, where they get stuck, average completion time of course material, attendance on coaching calls, questions. All of these things matter. All these things are relevant and needed for you to continuously improve your program and your client experience. The first step, honestly, was just putting the material together, just making your curriculum. That's the first step. Consistently delivering on your group coaching program, on that experience, is a never ending process. Okay. It does not stop. Right. So, coaches, I feel like, don't collect metrics on their program. I think a lot of times because they are focused on just enrolling people. But honestly, this is where you really learn a lot about your program and learn how to make it better and ultimately enroll more clients because you are tracking all those different metrics. So hopefully that was helpful, guys. I just want to check in and see if anybody had any questions about that. Any questions? I'm going to double check all the chats and stuff real quick before I keep going, but I wanted to check in with you guys. Let's see. We got some hellos. Hi, everybody. Detailed Diva says, agree. That is one of the biggest things I tell my clients. Don't have your coaching calls just be open forums. Provide some structure. Yes. And I don't think coaching calls should not just be, what do you guys want to talk about? Like, that's like, it shouldn't be y'all just looking at each other. Okay, so what you want to talk about today? Like, that's not an effective coaching call. And I feel like that's a waste of everybody's time, your time as well as your client's time. So make sure that you have some way, some structure to your call, and the people who are in your program have an understanding of how the call is supposed to go. Okay. Hopefully this was helpful, but when you're running your very first group program, like if this is your first stab at it, like you're taking a stab at it, I know it can be very nerve-wracking. I was so nervous on my very first group coaching program. So you should definitely, I feel, keep the numbers small for your first cohort so that you can get your bearings. Okay. This is very, very important. If you've only worked one-to-one with people and then you're going to now start this group thing, don't enroll like 20 to 50 people in your program the first time around, and you've never had experience facilitating a large group of people, managing different personalities, and like you're not used to having all the things being directed at you. Like, you have to be able to get skilled at that so that you can grow the size of your program. And that's why also it helps to have structure to your calls and not having it be a free-for-all, right? So I encourage people to keep the numbers small so they can make tweaks to your program. It gives you a chance to basically, if the numbers are small the first time, so like I think 10 is a good number to shoot for enrollment with your very first program. 5 to 10, I would say. I'd say that because some people who are very, very introverted, they get very nervous when there's like, a lot of people in the room. So the virtual room. So just keeping that in mind. It gives you a chance to make major improvements to your program without having major disruptions in your program. I think that's super important. If you're trying to go the high ticket route and provide a high ticket experience, you don't want there to be a major disruption, meaning you got to shut the program down to make all these tweaks while you still have people in your program because you want to enroll more people. It's like a vicious cycle. So if you're able to control the enrollment on the front end, the first time, learn some things, make some tweaks as people move through your program, you can open up enrollment, whether you choose to do cohort or evergreen. That's a business decision. Obviously, evergreen is scalable. So more scalable. So you'll have to think about if you want to do that and if you're even set up properly for that. Do you have the proper systems in place to go evergreen? There's a whole system behind it. So don't just get in love with the word and decide I'm going to have an evergreen high ticket group coaching program. Doesn't work that way. But let me know if you have any questions about anything as it relates to running your first group coaching program. Just to recap, my top 5 essential elements for running your first group coaching program would be to make sure you have your program outcomes. What are you going to be teaching people? What should they learn, know, achieve? What's the transformation they're going to receive by working with you? 2, your program curriculum. What are you teaching? Like, how are you teaching it? How is it going to be? How are you delivering this thing? Number 3 is your coaching calls. How often are they going to be? When are they going to be? What's the structure to them? Number 4 is your community. So what type of community are you cultivating? How are you going to do that? How are you bringing your people together? Be very intentional about that. Who's actually in your group coaching program? And then number 5 is evaluation tools and metrics. So how are you evaluating the progress of your clients, of the overall program, the material that's in, that's out, the whole facilitation of the whole experience. So all that matters when it comes to delivering a high quality group coaching program, especially if it's going to be high ticket, right? And then just what I mentioned at the beginning of the live about if you're going to do one-to-one and you're going to do group, the differentiators between those two services. What's different if someone works one-to-one with you versus if they're in your group coaching program? If you're looking to get rid of your one-to-one suite completely, then doesn't mean you have to cut the price on your group coaching program, right? Just because it's group doesn't mean it's less valuable and less effective if it's executed well. So never forget that group coaching, high ticket group coaching can be premium and arguably be more effective than one-to-one. It just all depends on how it's structured and how you execute things. So just make sure if you're going to do both services, you have clear differentiators between what's in the one-to-one that's not in group and vice versa, so that it's clear for your clients, clear for your product suite, and just makes sense for your overall business model. Okay. So if there are no questions, let me just double check to make sure. I don't see any. But hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Hopefully it's helpful. In the Brand Builder Blueprint, this is where we focus on our business strategy for both coaches and consultants. And we focus on how to structure their signature program, whether it's group coaching or one-to-one, so that you can be the go-to coach in your niche and you can have an amazing program that really gets your clients results. You're going to stand out and it's going to help you to create consistent and predictable income for you. So if you're ready to learn how to attract your ideal clients on repeat, build out your product suite from your high ticket offer all the way down to your freebie, and create that consistent income that's going to replace your freelance 9-to-5 or one-to-one, then definitely go and click the link in my bio. If you're on Instagram, it's the very first link. Or if you're watching me on Facebook, then you can click the link in the description of this live. Apply for the Brand Builder Blueprint program. It's a short application, and we'll see if it's a good fit for us to work together. Always, as always, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm on Facebook at iSimplyShe or on Instagram at I_simply_she. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. My DMs are open. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and take care.